Hey, everybody, it's Eric Holmgren, your ambassador at large with the Placentia Chamber of Commerce. And today I am with Michele Jones of Michele Jones Financial Coaching.
Yep,
How are you doing today, Michele?
doing good. How are you?
Good, good. So, Michele, tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name is Michele Jones. I work as a financial coach and a daily money manager. So, working with clients to help them get their finances in order and make good financial choices so that they have a solid financial future.
Okay. And are you a native to this area? Are you a transplant?
I moved down to Orange County when I was 15 from Northern
Okay.
California. So, I'm a
Okay.
native Californian, but now I've lived down here a good chunk of my life.
Well, we'll let you stay.
Thank you.
Well, good. And did you go to school here? And
I graduated from Tustin High School and then went to Cal State Fullerton, where I did undergrad and my grad program at Cal State Fullerton.
very good. What did you study over there?
Theater arts,
Theater arts.
lighting and stage management.
Okay.
Nothing to do with
What you
finances at
do,
all.
that is fairly typical for
Yeah.
most people, where we studied one thing and we're doing something totally different.
Yep.
So, but at least it trained you on how to think and approach problem solving, etc.
Exactly.
So, your graduate work was also in theater?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, you were really into it.
Yeah.
Well, very good. Well, now that you're doing so, is this your first job having this financial coaching? And not your first job, but your first business.
Yeah. It's my first business that I've run all by myself and
Okay.
done just me.
Okay. And then how did you get into it? If you're a theater major doing financial, there's got to be some
Yeah.
explanation.
So it was a total happenstance. So when my husband and I, who also does theater lighting, back in 2008, when the economy took a dump,
Yeah.
he was doing special event lighting, and the company kind of took a dump. And so we ended up having to short sell our house and move in with my parents with a 2-year-old, and finances were in chaos. And we were like, okay, we got to figure something out. So we started following Dave Ramsey and doing Dave Ramsey's financial stuff and got ourselves out of debt over 4.5 years. And so then I just kind of got involved in helping other people. People were
Okay.
like, how did you do that? I said, let me tell you. And so I just started working with more and more people and helping others get out of debt. And I really was like, this is really what I enjoy doing. I like helping people that are seeing no hope, see hope and see a
Okay.
future and see something bigger than just their problems that they're in right now. And so I just kind of started helping people do that and then found out that I could go through a training program and kind of turn it into a business. And so 2.5 years ago, I started doing it on the side as like a side job. And then just this last September of 2022, decided to go full time and really, delve into it, fully. So
Excellent.
that's what I do now.
Well, good. And it sounds like you've got obviously your own personal experience, as unhappy as it was, I'm sure at the time. You learned from it, you were able to bounce back from it, and because you went through that, I'm sure you're more empathetic
Mhm.
towards your clients who are going through it right now, and for them to see, hey, there's something on the other side
Yeah.
from what they're going through. So that's very powerful, as opposed to somebody else who's swooping in, who's never suffered a day in their life, kind of a thing, telling you what to do.
Yeah.
So, well, cool. And then with your financial training of sorts, with this, is it mostly things that you've taken classes for, or different things that you've read? What's
It's a little both. So I did a whole training program. There was about 3 or 4 months training on how to deal with different situations and how to handle going through bankruptcy or going through foreclosure. Some of the stuff I had figured out from going through it myself. Like,
right?
heck, here's how you deal with this because I've dealt with creditors or things like that. Others of it was taking classes and training, working with coaches and other financial coaches. I kind of have, groups in my pocket. So I've never dealt with the IRS. When I have a client that has IRS issues, I have a coach that I bring in alongside that used
Right.
to work for the IRS. And so it's like, here we go. Here's somebody more knowledgeable than me. They
Right.
can help with areas that I'm not good in, like that are more specific or,
Right. Because you're not so unlike, say, some of the other members in the chamber that are like financial advisors and they've got to be certified in this and this. You're more coaching, so
Mhm.
you might be giving some advice on what they need to do, but is it more like helping them with their mindset, how to get themselves organized, as opposed to invest in this, invest in that,
It's a
which is
little
totally different.
Yeah, it's a little of both. You're right. I'm not an advisor. I cannot say, hey, here's the stock, buy this.
Right.
Because that does take special certifications. I'm more of a coach. And so I always tell them, like, I'm going to give you my opinion and my advice, but you're the adult. You can take it or leave it. My
Right.
feelings aren't hurt. You pay me regardless. So I do go in, and in the beginning, a lot of times people come to me in crisis.
Right.
They have creditors that are calling them. They're going to lose their house. They have something major that makes them decide to reach out. And so we solve that problem first.
Right.
And so we get them on a budget. We make a plan for their money. We figure out, stop the bleeding.
Right.
Then as I work with them longer, it becomes how do we change their mindset? How do we make sure that if we get you out of debt, you don't go back into debt?
Right.
How do we make sure that we're solving the problems that got you into the financial trouble to begin with?
Right.
And so that's kind of a longer process, because it's creating a budget is great, and that's a lifelong thing. But if living on a budget, but you still are spending beyond your means, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're going to be in the same problem.
Yes. And so it's kind of like I always equate it to dieting. We don't want to yo-yo budget. We want to change your mindset so that your financial future is going one direction. You're not getting sidetracked and off on it. So it's a little bit of both.
Okay. Well, cool. As you know, with our chamber chats, we're usually talking to people about what's a business challenge you've had and how you've overcome it. So for you, what's a business challenge that you've had?
I'd say the biggest business challenge I had is social media.
Okay.
I'm not a big social media person.
Right.
But I realized early on that the consistency of posting mattered. Being consistent with my posting. I don't post a ton, so I now post like once a day, kind of a thing. But I found basically a posting calendar online service, and they sent me, here's all the stuff for 2 years. Here's the calendar for every month. Here's topics to talk about. Here's even pictures in Canva that you can, use for visuals for your social media. And it kind of gave me everything I needed so that I'm able to take the content and streamline it for my business and for my potential clients and people who want financial, advice. And I gear it towards them, but I'm not having to come up with every idea for every posting on my own.
Right. And it's not a case where this company that you worked with, it's not a case where they're writing the post. It's where they're providing you a prompt.
Yes, exactly.
Where they're saying, "Hey, share a
testimonial from a client, share a struggle that you've had, share something that is typical in your industry, but you don't do it that way." And so it gives you kind of the ideas. And sometimes I look at them and I'm like, I'm not doing that. And I come up with something totally different for that day. But it gives me, for most of my month, it gives me a good guidelines of what to talk about so that I don't have to reinvent the wheel every month.
Yeah. So it sounds like I know that's an issue that a lot of us face because we don't necessarily like social media, but we know we have to do it because that's where a lot of people we can reach. So if I were to then try to find a company, it's basically content creator calendar might be what I put in the Google search and see what comes up.
Yeah.
And in your particular case, the company you worked with gave you about 2 years worth of suggestions and a calendar. Okay, well that's good. And then do you remember what the fee was?
I want to say it was like $78 or something.
Wow.
It was not a lot. For the value that I've gotten out of it, it was really good. Because I think the other thing that I found is when I started posting regularly on Instagram and Facebook, my Google, people found me on the web easier, which I don't know that I would have associated. But somehow with having my social media out there and with tagging my name and all that kind of stuff, people are finding me easier on the web now.
Okay, that's great.
So,
that's great.
Yeah.
Well, and that's good advice. And I'm certainly going to be making notes for this interview about that. And I'm sure other people out there can use this too. So before we wrap things up, Michele, is there anything else you'd like to share with our friends out there?
Just that if you're struggling with finances, know that most people are. It's kind of that secret, especially in Orange County. I think that people don't want to let people know that they're struggling, but that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Reach out, get help. I'm here to help. Non-judgmental. I've been there.
Yeah.
I always tell my clients, if you think you've made a stupid mistake, I can trump it. So, don't feel ashamed, the judgment-free zone.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, grab the life ring before you go down the drain.
Exactly.
Well, good. Well, Michele, it's been great to chat with you, learn more about you and your business. And for all of our friends out there, until our next episode, be well.